Once again, Taeyoung and Jungkook shared a moment together live, making it clear that their connection remains as strong as ever. This time, it was during a new live broadcast from inside a car. Although the setting was simple, every gesture between them built a love story. From the first minute, the camera captured Taeyoung with that gaze we've all learned to recognize. His eyes never left Jungkook's. It wasn't a passing observation, it was the kind of attention you get when you truly care about someone. Taeyoung seemed to search Jungkook's every movement for another reason to keep looking at him. It was evident that for him there was no one else present in that space other than his lifelong companion. Jungkook, for his part, seemed serene and comfortable. His body language spoke of tranquility, as if there was nothing else in the world he needed at that moment. There was no tension. It was as if being around Taeyoung, he found that calm that is sometimes difficult to find in the midst of a hectic schedule and such an intense public life. One of the moments that caught the most attention was when Taeyoung brought his hand up to Jungkook's face and caressed his chin. Jungkook simply closed his eyes and let the moment flow. His slight smile and the stillness with which he received the gesture spoke volumes. It was an intimate scene, like those that occur when two people are used to caring for each other. Despite the obvious tenderness of this interaction, some tried to interpret the video critically. Some users commented that Jungkook looked uncomfortable. But the truth is, for those who have followed the evolution of his relationship with Taeyoung over time, it was clear that his attitude wasn't one of discomfort, but of contemplation, of calm enjoyment. Sometimes, those who don't want to accept certain realities project their desires or frustrations onto the moments of others. And that's what happened this time. Another moment from the live that didn't go unnoticed was when Jungkook was checking his phone, and Taeyoung began to stare at the screen intently. Little by little, he leaned toward him, as if wanting to figure out who he was texting to, but that small gesture was enough to reveal a very beautiful emotion: jealousy. The kind that arises when you care about what the person you love is doing. It was another reflection of the fact that there is a living relationship between them, with genuine emotions that can't be faked. These kinds of moments aren't born from a script or a commercial strategy, but from their shared daily lives. When Jungkook and Taeyoung are together, they don't need to act, everything flows naturally. Their body language, their silences, and their glances are consistent with what they have shown for years, that there is something more than friendship between them. It's important to note that although the industry sometimes imposes certain dynamics for its own benefit, there are relationships that remain authentic despite everything. In that sense, what happens between Taeyoung and Jungkook remains free from these impositions. It's not about theories, but rather about observing the obvious. When they're close, they don't need to hide it, because their bond isn't part of a strategy. It's something that has grown over time and is reaffirmed with every glance, every shared laugh, every spontaneous gesture of affection. We've also witnessed this closeness in previous live shows. And although the context varies in each broadcast, the common thread is always the same: their love never fades. Whether during a game, a song, a conversation, or simply sharing a quiet space, Jungkook and Taeyoung manage to convey a connection that goes beyond the professional. For a while now, many have noticed how Taeyoung and Jungkook continue to leave clear signs of how close they are. Over the years, they've shared moments that, while not always public, show that their bond goes far beyond a simple friendship. It's evident that they enjoy spending time together in places they usually reserve for themselves. They work out at the same gym, choose the same restaurants, visit beaches, travel, and frequent places where they can simply be themselves, away from the noise of the cameras. This decision to live their relationship privately is neither new nor unexpected. Taeyoung once spoke openly about how important it is for him to keep certain moments just for himself and the person he shares them with. He said that not everything should be shown to the public and that some experiences are best enjoyed in silence. Those words reflect a lot about how he understands love. It's not about validating it in front of others, but about living it fully with those who truly matter. The connection between them doesn't need to be explained with words because it's felt in everyday gestures. For example, one of the moments that caught fans' attention most occurred during a live broadcast Taeyoung did. Although he didn't explicitly say who he was with, the clues were clear. The soft snores of someone sleeping next to him could be heard, and there was a moment when Taeyoung turned his head to look at that person with a familiarity that couldn't be faked. It was a natural gesture, like that of someone already accustomed to sharing these kinds of moments with another very special person. The way he reacted wasn't nervous or thought out, which leads those following them closely to a fairly obvious conclusion: the person next to him was Jungkook. And this shouldn't surprise anyone. After all, they had spent quite a bit of time apart due to military service, a period that kept them physically apart but didn't seem to affect the closeness that unites them in any way. On the contrary, now that they're both over that phase, it's clear they're enjoying the chance to be together again, to reclaim those intimate spaces that they had to put on hold for a while. It's not about showing every detail of their relationship, but rather preserving what truly matters. And in that sense, Taeyoung and Jungkook have made it clear that their priority is protecting their connection above external expectations. They don't seek to prove anything to anyone because they know what they have. They've built it step by step, in private, with mutual respect and a trust that is evident in every small gesture they share, even when they're not talking directly about their relationship. That's why many of their followers don't need constant proof or explicit declarations. The affection is felt, the way they care for each other, the natural way they share their spaces, and the tranquility they convey when they're close to each other, speak louder than any post or comment on social media. And although they sometimes remain discreet, from time to time they give us small signs, like this live broadcast, which only confirm what many have long suspected. It's quite possible that when they're ready, Taeyoung and Jungkook will decide to share aspects of their relationship more openly. But it's also valid if they choose to continue living their story at their own pace, away from the spotlight. The important thing is that they have each other, and that their relationship, solid and silent, continues to grow without needing to be explained. Every moment they share, whether public or private, strengthens the connection that has always united them. The bond between Taeyoung and Jungkook isn't built from a single action or moment. It's noticeable that there's a repeated way they behave when they're around each other, and that can't be faked. It's not something that just appears one day, but has formed over time, with each encounter, with each glance and each silent approach. The small details are repeated so naturally that it feels more like a private routine than something improvised. When they're together, their movements change completely. They don't just share a physical space. They position themselves in a way that always keeps an eye on the other. They approach each other without fear, with confidence. Touching each other doesn't seem like something they think about much. They do it as if they know they have permission to do it because there's something between them that unites them beyond what is visible. They're not looking for someone to notice them. There are no exaggerated gestures or attempts to stand out. What they do for themselves. Their body language shows a tranquility that isn't common among people who simply work together. There's security in the way they look at each other, in how they settle next to each other without waiting for external reactions. They understand each other without words, and that's not something that happens with just anyone. When one of them is present, the other subtly changes. That can't be forced. The way they move, how they give each other space but also how they take it away without making the other uncomfortable, speaks volumes. The surroundings seem to disappear, as if they only pay attention to each other. Over time, Taeyoung and Jungkook have shown that they don't need to use words to make clear what they feel. Their body language speaks volumes, especially when they're close. It's in those moments that you can tell their relationship goes far beyond what many might think. There's no doubt they've created a way of being together that's already a part of them. When they're next to each other, their movements adapt precisely. There's no awkwardness. There are no barriers. The space between them narrows because they both allow it, as if being close were the most natural thing in the world. They search for each other with their eyes, and when they meet, they don't take their eyes off each other. It's a way of communicating that needs no explanation. There's something important about how they touch each other. They don't do it by accident, or with hesitation. They approach with determination, as if touching the other were something expected, even necessary. These gestures, although they may seem small, are actually very powerful. They indicate trust, security, affection. They show that there's no need for boundaries when you're with the person you want to be close to. The most revealing thing is that this way of acting doesn't change, even when cameras are rolling. They don't modify it for the public. They're not acting. What you see is a real connection that has been there for a long time. It's a dynamic that isn't improvised for a specific moment. You can tell it's something that exists in private and is effortlessly maintained in public.